Sue Whyld from William Gilbert Endowed School in Derbyshire. Thank you for having us today.
You're welcome.
You are the head teacher of the school and you're also a Sing Up Platinum Award school. Tell us a bit more about the school.
Well, we're proud to be a church school, so we're a Church of England primary school situated here in Duffield on the edge of the River Derwent. Ofsted visited us in June 2008 and judged us to be outstanding in every category, bar attendance, so we were very delighted with that. And 2 weeks later, the church inspection arrived and also judged us to be outstanding and commented that the singing was of an exceptionally high standard and obviously embraced the spiritual development of our children.
So why is singing so important to you and to your school?
Well, I think I am passionate about singing. It's always been in my life. You know, from being a child, I went to schools where there was lots of singing going on and I had the opportunity to sing in a range of venues. And since my teaching career began, I guess I've seen the benefits that it brings to children's lives.
Are you the main lead for music in this school?
I am, yes. When I came here, I was appointed as the deputy, and the area of music was my area of responsibility. And as I've moved on to be the head, I guess I've maintained that area. So I lead it, and I lead it with a passion, really, because it keeps me in touch with the children. So I'm constantly engaged with children. It empowers the staff and it gives them confidence. And I'll lead a session, and then they'll go back and continue it or further rehearse it, and then we'll meet again.
So you have some staff who are very confident?
I have. I'm very fortunate that I have two staff that are equally as passionate, but I think I can hand on heart say all my staff are behind me, because they see. The children walk tall. It's the feel-good factor, really. And sometimes, you know, at the lowest ebb, or when you've got a most frustrating case on, or something that's really hard work, I think I'll just leave this for a moment, just get in the hall, just find a group of children, just sing. It might just be 5 minutes. But it just, I think, yes, this is why I'm here, this is what it's about. It's about children boosting their self-esteem, giving them the feel-good factor.
So before you took over the school, some of those other wider members of staff would probably not have been so confident to lead singing on their own. Is that fair to say?
Yes, you know, definitely. I think it is a subject that people think, I can't play the piano, therefore I cannot teach music and I can't sing. And staff will say to you, I can't sing, don't come near me, I can't sing. You know, it's the singing teacher sort of thing.
So how do you break down that barrier?
Well, I guess I do it by lead by example. So lead by example, lead with total motivation, 100% passion, and try and make it look easy and natural, and not be frightened to say, I failed, or I got that wrong, or hang on everybody, just stop, I've gone completely wrong.
So you don't feel you have to be an expert musician to lead singing?
No, absolutely not. I do feel for people that really do consider themselves to be non-musical and I can't sing. And I think that Sing Up has been the real wonderful opportunity for those people, because you know the resources are idiot-proof, really. As long as you can press the button, smile, and you can control a class of children, you can sing. But the tips are there, and preparation is obviously the key. You know, you can't just put it on and just hope it's going to happen by process of osmosis. You have got to prepare it.
So a lot of head teachers who don't perhaps have your musical experience would view singing and Sing Up as an initiative-based thing that they have to bolt onto an already busy curriculum. How would you respond to those kinds of heads who say, well, this is just one thing too many for me to do? Well,
I mean, I think the trouble is, yes, Sing Up, it is another initiative. I mean, I think it's an awesome one. But if you're a sports fan and you want to go down the sporting line, then obviously it's not going to be as high on your agenda. And certainly we are full of initiatives, from eco schools to Every Child Matters to extended schools, sport for all, etc. And so it's deciding what are your school's priorities and how are you going to meet them. Now, I would say that you can meet any priority through singing. The sport is wonderful, you know, we're a high sporting school too, but sport for me always brings an element of competition, and arrogance. Singing brings harmony, it brings teamwork, it brings cooperation. And for us here, it just binds our school together. When we say, we are a church school, Christianity is the heartbeat of our school, but music is its pulse, and everybody that comes will say, yes, we can see it, we can feel it.
I spoke to a child recently who was singing in a choir in Staffordshire, and he said brilliantly that sport and exercise are really good for warming him up, particularly on the outside, but singing warms him up on the inside.
Absolutely.
What a wonderful way of looking at it.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think, you can link. So if the head is very sporty, then you can make those links. Just before your Sing Up conference, I attended the Head Teachers Conference for Sport for All for our area. It was inspirational, and I don't consider myself particularly sporty, but I did thoroughly enjoy it. And I found that I enjoyed it most because they were looking at, well, after we've done a sporting event, we have a cool down and we play this music. Oh, I thought, yes, okay, so they're linking music here. And we do this to music, or we're doing aerobics. And of course, that whet my appetite because it's rhythmical. And I think, you've got to tap into where head teachers are perhaps coming from. But equally, I think you've got to be quite maverick. If you've taken over a school or you're obsessed with your government targets, sometimes it can be hard to move away from that and to create those creative curriculums and those musical opportunities. But yeah, I'm a maverick, I'm afraid.
You're the best sort of maverick. Recently you very kindly came and spoke to a conference of the wider staff who work on Sing Up, and you brought your in-tray with you.
I did.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, I've got this week's in-tray. This is my in-tray from Monday. So my desk, I came in during the Easter holidays to clear my desk, and this is what's come in since Monday. And I think I only did it really to politely say that as a head teacher, you are absolutely inundated with initiatives and work that has to be done. This has already been filtered by my PA, and now I've got to filter it and think reading pile, must do pile, leave till later pile, and that pile possibly will end up in file 13 at the end of this term. If, as a head teacher that's passionate about singing, I can only give a very small amount of time to it, then obviously we've got to consider those who aren't passionate about singing and therefore aren't going to give any time to it.
So something that we might send you, a flyer or something, the chances are by the time you get to it and look at it, the date will have passed.
Absolutely. That happened to me only the other day, that somebody from the local authority music partnership popped in and said, are you going to think about the wider opportunities scheme this year? You've not done that. We didn't invite you in year one because there was a lot of music going on in your school and we chose schools where it wasn't. But would you be interested? We've sent a flyer. Well, I've not seen the flyer. After this lady had left, I nipped down and actually it was there amongst all the ramble on my desk. I was already a week late, but I did apply and yes, we're going to the briefing next week. But yes, things get lost, things get overlooked, things get left in that, well, I'll come back to that at a later time. And yeah, back into file 13.
So you're an enthusiastic head teacher when it comes to music, and even you, sometimes it takes a while for things to get through to you. With more reluctant head teachers, it's going to be even more of a challenge, isn't it? And there is a sort of kind of like a ring of protection around a head teacher, so that they're not completely swamped. Do you have any tips as to how we can better get reluctant head teachers on board, just get through the door to them?
Well, it's certainly hard because every head will have a very effective secretary or PA or bursar, whatever they're called. Mine is absolutely stunning. If she immediately thinks she might be a rep, there is no way you'll access me at all. So yes, you've got that first line of defence and you've got the problem of flyers and advertising probably just getting lost. And their music service. Tap in to their course and conference document, and I've got ours here where they're labelled into subject areas. So they've been running a series of courses across the county on making the best use of the Sing Up material. So that's one way of getting people to attend to introduce them to sing up. As far as I think getting into the school, then I think your delegates have got to have a variety of sales pitches, streamed for how interested or not this head is, and certainly then sell the impact of the benefits of singing on children's lives. I think any head will sit up if they think the local authority are behind it. They like, whatever the local authority do, of course they're going to obey because we're monitored by the local authority. So anything there is of interest. Anything that there's got data or impact or evidence to, they would like. And anything that's attached to another initiative. So as an example, the Every Child Matters agenda. I decided to break down singing into the 5 areas of the Every Child Matters agenda and just see if I could make it address it. And it does, just so easily, be healthy. Think about the health of your voice box. Stay safe, work as a team, and all those sort of things. And I've got it on display somewhere in the hall. And then think about, through the local authority, think about, well, how do schools network and how do they cluster? Because they do, and they work in all sorts of different networks and clusters. So perhaps area leaders tapping in via the local authority, because they would give you that information of the different clusters of schools, and there'll often be 5 or 6 primary schools around 1 secondary school. For our cluster, we meet every half term, so it would only need either an advocate or an ambassador for Sing Up who's already doing it, like myself, or an area leader like Carol Palmer for us, to say, can I get a slot on the agenda? And they would be there.
Would that be a more successful route than if Carol, the area leader, simply turned up to reception and spoke to your PA?
Definitely, because you've no guarantee that the head's going to be available or even in. They could be on a course, they could be teaching all day, so obviously that's going to be a wasted journey. And I think it's rare that heads will see people just on spec. I mean, you're there in that capacity for your parents and for your children, but usually your diary is full and you've mapped out what you're going to do for the day. So I think one of the strongest message I think that you can give any reluctant head, or even if it's the deputy or the music coordinator of the school, and you're trying to whet their appetite and they're going to go back to the senior leadership team and say, I want to do this, is to see it live. See it live, see children sing, see the pleasure that it gives them, the feel-good factor, the wow factor, and if possible, see it live with their children. So they actually think, well, that's our children. I didn't realise our children could do that. I didn't realise they got that discipline, that self-control, that passion, that they could use their eyes and their whole bodies in that way. And then from there, having seen it live, sell them, what the aspirations are in singing, that children start to believe in who they are, that it does bring harmony, it doesn't bring conflict, and it does bring working together. So yeah, that's one way. And then I think I would say, obviously through the Sing Up advocates then and the vocal force people and people coming into school, they're true singing leaders who can demonstrate it at a very high standard. Empower the class teacher that you're working with, because otherwise they're going to be thinking it's the singing teacher again. She can sing, she can play the piano, I can't, I don't feel very good and I'm out of my comfort zone. But those people don't know your class. They don't know the inclusion of those children, they don't know the special needs children, they might not know that there's a child there that's very sound sensitive or can't cope with humour and therefore isn't going to cope well with the warm-up that's jumping about and silly or appearing to cause a lot of fun. So by empowering them by saying, can you tell me about your class? Okay, so we've got that little group there that won't enjoy this. Could you do something quietly with them while I do this warm-up? Then we'll bring them back in and it will be quite more serious while I'm teaching the song. And then they go away and the class teacher continues to work on it for the week. Then the expert comes back probably the following week and perhaps is disappointed even with what they've done, but just set small steps. Or perhaps for next week, could you work on the diction, or could you work on, we'll put some crescendos and diminuendos in and explain it carefully. But by empowering them with, your class, could you seat them accordingly for me, or could you put them into the groups? There's a relationship then and harmony formed between the two of them, and I think as their confidence builds, then obviously that's rather good. But I think what also works is if teachers can then go and see the converted teacher, the one that's perhaps worked with Sing Up, who's learnt to press the button, smile, discipline the class and sing with them. And if Mrs Jones can do it, well, actually I could have a go at doing that. And I think if they've got a chance to work with a teacher that consider themselves non-musical and now is having a go at singing, and they show them what they can do with their class, and I think staff, teachers that also consider themselves non-musical, grow in confidence. And I would say take them by the hand, if necessary, take them by the throat, but take them and say, right, as a cluster then, could we do a little concert at the end of this term? Each school does 2 or 3 songs of their own, and we'll do 2 or 3 songs together, and we'll have the local wind band that meet at your school every week to do a little ensemble, and we'll put a concert together in Derby Assembly Rooms and let the parents come and see. And to me, that's the way. So that a school that isn't engaged with music will have something that they can celebrate and share it that way.
Tell us about the staff, the music experts who visit your school and how that fits into the expertise of the staff.
Working in Derbyshire, I'm very fortunate that there is a very proactive music service, and within that is a county singing team. So where I have learnt so much is when they have engaged us in work for them, and we've been working towards a project that's going to go either as a festival level or even at a competition level. And a singing teacher from the county team will come in, work with my children for an hour, once a week, and show me the next level that my children can actually achieve. And then I can practice that during the week. She comes back and we carry on. And so it just up-levels my knowledge. And then, of course, through Sing Up, through the excellent publications and reading about other teachers across the country, and interviews that are in there, and the singing tips that come from the resource bank, you know a little bit more. What can I do with this song? So it's about that sort of up level and thinking this is the standard that we can achieve, and actually we're going a step higher now. Reach for the stars, really.
In March, you took a group down to the Royal Opera House
We did.
Sing Up in the House. Can you tell us about that experience?
I've not got over it yet. It was truly, truly awesome. The experience for the children, particularly in the Paul Hamlin bar, was just exhilarating. It was truly to die for. And I think I took 140 parents, 51 children, and they were just buzzing, absolutely buzzing. And since then we've had flowers and chocolates and gifts and cards, and we have very supportive parent groups. Chance of a lifetime for children to say that they sang in the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden. I'm really proud of them.
Oh, great. So what did you bring back here? How could you use that experience?
Well, I think we can share it with our schools in our cluster, and I will do that at the next meeting, which is in a couple of weeks' time, and tell them about it, and seize that up, because of course they'll say, well, how did you get that invitation? Why did that happen? Because we've used the press and everything to really publicise that, and that will take me back again to the Sing Up route, and I know some of the schools in my cluster are already signed up to Sing Up, but I know there are others that aren't. So that will be an opportunity, to promote that again, and then say, would you like it on the agenda, and then I can invite Carol, our area leader, or would you like to come to a network meeting that's going to be happening at our school in June, so you can find out more about the awards programme? Would you like to just come in and see singing in our school? In fact, one of the heads from our local school has already said, can I and another colleague come and just see what you do? And I said, yeah, that's great. Can we come and see what you do in all your sports, notice sports, because they're very sporty, so it's a give and take share.
So, Whyld, thank you so much for having me in your school. It really is a privilege to come here. I think what you do is amazing. I think we need to take you away and copy you and put you into every school.
You don't want two of me.
And our work will be done. But really, it's if ever there was a deserved Platinum Award school, this is it. So thank you, and very best of luck with everything you do.
Thank you very much. Thank you.